Hi all, David here from MHR. Today we're going to talk about burnout and what we can do to combat that. This workshop is going to focus on recognizing the signs of burnout and understanding its impact on mental health. You will learn practical strategies to prevent burnout, set healthy boundaries, create sustainable productivity, and implement self-care practices to maintain a balanced and sustainable work-life approach. This workshop will also focus on equipping you with practical tools and techniques to build resilience and manage stress effectively in the workplace. You'll learn how to identify signs of stress, understand its impact on mental health, and develop coping strategies to maintain your well-being during challenging times. Let's start the basics. What is burnout? Well, burnout is a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion caused by excessive and prolonged stress. It occurs when you feel overwhelmed, emotionally drained, tired, and unable to meet constant demands. So how do we differentiate burnout and stress? Well, it's important to note that burnout is different to everyday stress. Stress is an element of work that can be reasonably overcome and used as motivation. Burnout, on the other hand, is a feeling of excessive or endless stress, leading to a complete lack of motivation. So let's look at some of the specific characteristics of stress versus burnout. So, stress is characterized by over-engagement in a particular topic or task, whereas burnout is characterized by disengagement with that particular task or thought. During stress, emotions are overactive, whereas during a state of burnout, emotions are actually blunted. You can feel a sense of numbness to those emotions. During stress, that will produce certain urgency or hyperactivity. This is where people can draw productivity from. This is some of the more healthy outcomes of stress. But moving over to the burnout column, what it does is produce a sense of helplessness or hopelessness or both. And finally, with stress, you'll see a loss of energy. That's because you're working harder, your brain's working harder, and your energy levels are being depleted. But over in burnout, you'll see a complete loss of motivation, ideals, and sometimes, in extreme cases, even hope. So how can we identify burnout in the workplace, both within ourselves and also within our colleagues? Well, there are a number of signs that can help us detect burnout in the workplace. Some are more obvious than others and often depend on the severity or level of the fatigue/stress being experienced. These indicators may include exhaustion, feeling physically or emotionally drained, isolation, withdrawing or not wanting to engage with others, often as a result of feeling overwhelmed, poor performance, mistakes appearing in your work due to an inability to perform at your best, an inability to focus on the task and complete it, irritability, not feeling like your usual self, becoming easily frustrated and potentially even lashing out at some of your colleagues or family members. It can frequently occur also during a change in role, so increased work hours, taking on additional responsibility, or simply a lack of role clarity can also spark burnout within an individual. It's important to note that in some cases you may be hitting targets and achievements and still incurring burnout. We've previously talked about poor performance, but that's not a guaranteed outcome of burnout. Performance or functional burnout is also a possible outcome. Similarly, burnout may be gradual over a long period of time or quickly onset due to one of the below factors. So what triggers burnout? Well, burnout can be triggered by a number of reasons and is usually a complication of multiple elements at the same time. I'll go through some common examples, but before I do, it should be noted that burnout can be caused by a very wide range of factors, and below is simply a short list of common ones. Excessive workload. This is a tough one, particularly for companies. Excessive workload can have multiple sources. Potentially a structural change that caused additional workload to be funneled into a particular role. A role was misdesigned initially with too much workload in it. Additionally, what can occur is that the individual occupying that role may not have the capacity or skill sets to do it, and therefore they have excessive workload as they attempt to correct their lack of skill in a particular role. It is complicated, but it is the primary cause of burnout. Leave and holiday is really important for individuals to unwind and recharge. A lack of leave or a lack of holiday can cause burnout. It is important that people utilize their leave allocations on an annual basis so that they can recharge and come back to work functioning at their highest capacity. Vague roles that lack clarity and direction can cause huge amounts of stress for individuals, which over time can result in burnout. Extreme time pressure can also be another factor. In roles that have extreme time pressures, you will see that work is compacted into a shorter period of time. So extreme time pressure is effectively a type of excessive workload and can result in individuals, particularly when that's repeated over time, can result in individuals succumbing to burnout. And finally, lack of recognition. It's important that employees are recognized for the work that they do. When employees are under stress over an extended period of time, or even in some cases a short period of time, a lack of recognition of that work and that output can result in stress turning into burnout. How do we combat burnout? Well, there are multiple ways, and they all start with identifying it and committing to act and working to improve the circumstances in and around that employee. First step is to ask for help. Talk to your colleagues, talk to your manager, and talk to HR. HR in particular can work with you to implement specific strategies to permanently fix underlying the issues causing your burnout. Rest is key. Be it short breaks during the day, but most importantly, sleep at night. It is very important that you get a good amount of sleep every single night. It will allow your brain to reset, your body to recharge, your mind to recharge. Eat healthy and exercise. Everybody tells you to do it for all sorts of reasons, but exercise assists in your stress, and eating healthy assists in your body to manage that stress. When you're feeling burnt out, you're going to have impulses to the opposite. You're going to want to consume comfort food, and you're going to want to stay inside, curled up on the couch or in bed. You need to resist those impulses, and you need to try and eat healthy, and you need to do some physical activity, be it a gym session or just a walk. These things will assist you greatly in improving your mental health. But a big one is take a break. It's really important for you to regain your work-life balance and enjoy some time off. Book in that annual leave you've been meaning to take, spend time doing what you love, rediscover an old hobby, find a new one. It's important to have positive goals set into your future. And that leave is one of those positive goals. It's something for you to work through, knowing that in 2, 3, or 4 months, you're taking some time off and going to X or having a stay vacation. This is really important for managers and companies as well. The productivity of your employees relies on their mental health. That means that your employees must have good amounts of stress, but not bad amounts of stress, and definitely not burnout. It's important for companies to actively manage this to ensure they have a happy, healthy, and productive workforce.